everybody, and welcome into the Burgundy Zone. I am Kyle, joined by Michael Hall.
What's going on, everybody?
And happy Tuesday. It is the fourth day of training camp for the NFL. The Redskins had a day off yesterday on Monday. It being Tuesday, big news has come out of the Redskins Park. The Redskins have agreed, it's not 100% written down yet. Donald Penn is working his way down to Richmond, but he has signed a one-year deal with the Redskins. Now, the implications of this are huge. What does this mean for Trent Williams? Does this mean that the Redskins are willing to walk away from Trent Williams just to be able to have Donald Penn there? What is going on here? Or is this going to force Trent back in the fold? How do you feel about this signing?
It's just a signing to have a backup. They need somebody to play in the preseason. I mean, they got a game against the Browns in 10 days. Mm-hmm. You can't just roll out Eric Flowers at left tackle, play him the whole game at left tackle. Got to have some other bodies to put in there. I don't think it has any effect on Trent because once Trent comes back, Trent's going to be the starter, obviously. Donald Penn becomes a swing tackle because we all know Trent and Morgan Moses probably not going to play all 16 games. Maybe Morgan Moses, but
yeah,
give or take. We know Trent ain't playing all 16. So we're going to need that second string, that good veteran backup that's not Eric Flowers. So, I don't think it has any effect on Trent. I just think that it is what it is. They just need a guy to fill in for camp. And if Trent does happen to hold out into the regular season, then we have an established vet who's been to Pro Bowls and can do his thing at left tackle.
Yeah, and I think this has a lot to say about the Redskins' depth at the tackle spot. Now, Jaron Christian, as of today, this is his first day at training camp for the Washington Redskins. Apparently, he is balling. They're doing drills, one-on-one drills. He's beating Montez Sweat. Apparently, Jaron Christian just today has looked great. So that's breaking news in itself. But would the Redskins really feel comfortable going into the season knowing that the only backup to Trent Williams that they have is Jaron Christian? I think that would really scare the hell out of them. So I think this move with Donald Penn is just to bring a body in for preseason, like you said, just so the quarterbacks don't die during preseason games with Eric Flowers and possibly Jaron Christian back there, because you don't know.
Look what happened to RG3 with the Lions preseason game all those years ago. There was maybe one starting lineman in the game, and what happened? That man was injured by halfway through the first quarter.
Right. And so it makes a lot of sense to bring in Donald Penn just to have the body so the quarterbacks don't die. But then when you're talking about the future in this season, having Donald Penn as the backup to Trent Williams is a great place to be, because then you can tell Jaron Christian, look, bud, you're the primary backup to Morgan Moses at right tackle.
Right.
And now all you have to figure out is the left guard position. Will Wes Martin win it? Does Eric Flowers beat him out of it? Or does Ross Piersbacher come out of nowhere, the rookie from Alabama, and not Alabama, but come in and from Alabama and come in and just take the job for himself? So a lot of things can happen just by this move, but it's huge because I really do like this move. I was worried about the preseason games. I'm sure Jay is as well. Look how many injuries the Redskins have had all over the years, the past 5 years.
I'm sure Case Keenum's like, yeah, so you going to bring someone in here? Because
this isn't working out right now, bud. I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm going to need someone to protect me.
Right, and with all of the injuries the Redskins have had for the past 3 years, leading the league in injuries, you would have to imagine if you're Jay Gruden, you'd be like, okay, that's a recipe for disaster. I don't want to keep replicating history. I want to change this. So maybe I should do something here, sign somebody that can just play subpar, that just isn't going to be a liability as soon as they step on the field, right. Which we have seen from training camps thus far. That's what happens when Eric Flowers goes in at left tackle.
Yep.
And so now you actually have the actual competition at the left guard spot between Wes Martin and Eric Flowers. Before, you weren't really sure because we didn't know if Eric Flowers was going to play left tackle.
Right.
We weren't sure. But now that legit challenge is there at left guard, and I think that Wes Martin is going to win it. I don't think Eric Flowers has the confidence to do it, and I think Bill Callahan will be able to get Wes Martin up and ready for starting in week 1. But that being said, I didn't know this, but Eric Flowers wasn't playing with a full deck of cards in New York. Apparently, he wasn't learning all of the sets to each alignment that the defensive end does. He didn't know any of that. Bill Callahan had just instilled that in him in the last couple weeks.
That's crazy to me. It just shows you all the dysfunction going on in New York nowadays.
Yeah.
Letting go of Landon Collins, trading Odell Beckham. I mean, at the time, letting go of Eric Flowers, even though he was so bad, but clearly it wasn't his fault. Well, semi his fault.
Right.
But yeah, I just think that Bill Callahan can get the most out of him, like one of the best O-line coaches in the league. And it's pretty much make or break. If you can't learn anything from, well, I was going to say Trent Williams, but he's not there.
Right.
If you can't learn anything from Braden Sheriff or Morgan Moses or even Bill Callahan for that, you should probably just make your way out of the league at this point. So it's make or break year for him. And I actually have faith that Wes Martin will probably get the starting job. But, I mean, left guard, Eric Flowers as a backup, I mean, I guess I'm not that mad at that. Even as a third stringer behind Pierce Parker, I wouldn't be mad at that. We need depth at line, so.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what we've talked about this all offseason. I'm more comfortable with Eric Flowers as a backup than I am as a starter. Just being said that the guy has some experience in the league, him stepping up in that spot in case if they need the backup to come in, he's not going to be flustered. He's not going to be in a spot where he's not used to. He's used to being on the field. He knows how the things work. I think that'd be a great idea for the Redskins. But that being said, they're going to play the person that is the best for the team.
Yep.
And just looking from what I've seen so far, I think that will be Wes Martin, but it wouldn't surprise me if it is Eric Flowers. Like I'll give Wes Martin 55 to 45% chance between him and Eric Flowers of starting on that offensive line.
I mean, at the end of the day, we got the Eagles week 1. Who do you trust more blocking Fletcher Cox? Eric Flowers or a fresh blood rookie in there?
Yeah. That's a good point. Eric Flowers has been there. I knew he wouldn't be scared. That's from damn sure. Now, other news out of Redskins Park, Dwayne Haskins on the third day, which was Sunday, looked phenomenal. Apparently, he looked a lot more comfortable, was having a lot more fun, was hitting Jeremy Sprinkle a lot, a name that a lot of people have had questions about because of where he is in his career. I mean, he's 3-4 years down the road now, and we haven't really heard his name. Also, speaking of tight ends, Jordan Reed. Jay Gruden has not stopped talking about Jordan Reed.
Yep.
He has talked about all training camp long. He can't even breathe without bringing up Jordan Reed, talking about how great of shape he's in. He looks so much better than he was a year ago. That reeks of the 2 years ago of Jordan Reed, the 2015 Jordan Reed. That's coming back.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. I definitely could see Jordan Reed putting up 2015 numbers or close to those. I think this is the second year, or it's been 2 years since 2015. He's been 2 off seasons where he's been injury, had surgery, what have you. So this is the first time since 15 that season where he's had a whole off season of training, been able to put on like weight lift, get agility, speed, all the training he needs. So definitely look for a big year from Jordan Reed. Fantasy owners out there, look for him to be a top 3 tight end this year, maybe even a top 2 behind Kelsey. But definitely, he's going to be the number 1 target for the Redskins going in, obviously. Jay Gruden's offense goes from inside out, working the tight ends and the backs, and then he stretches it out to the outside receivers and the slots. So, yeah, between him and Trey Quinn, I'm expecting huge years from them. Yeah, and Jay actually said yesterday that Trey Quinn has the slot spot. That's his spot, that it's going to be his. He has it locked down. He looks phenomenal as well. There was people saying, like, he's looked so good. Even last year, before he got injured, he looked so good, and then this year he looks phenomenal. They're saying, like, how did this guy last to be Mr. Irrelevant in the draft? Like, he clearly should have been like a 4th or 5th round talent, but hey, I'm not mad. Redskins got him. Yeah, and Jay Gruden stood on the table for Trey Quinn, so a lot of credit to Jay. Yeah, so a lot of credit to Jay. Now, on the defensive side of the football, 2 guys in particular have stood out to the reporters, to the media on defense. And that is, just by looks alone, that's Montez Sweat, and it's Tim Settle. Apparently, Tim Settle has a 6-pack right now. Yep. Or it's him or Deron Payne. It's one of them. They said he was looking like a young Aaron Donald out there. Yeah. As far as body size. Tim Settle is out of Virginia Tech. I'm a Hokie fan. I love Tim Settle. The Redskins defensive line, if Caleb Brantley can transfer and actually mold into a legitimate defensive tackle that can just do his job, and I think Tom Sula is good enough to be able to get to Brantley to that point. I mean, he may have came up in the SEC and was a great player in the SEC. So. The Redskins could possibly have one of the deepest and most talented defensive lines in the NFL. This breeds success. Yep. That and up front. You have to be able to get the offensive line solidified for the Redskins to be able to make some moves, but it's great to see. Yep. And Tim Settle, a young dude that's hungry, and he doesn't get much reps because of who else is on the defensive line, but when he's going to get his chance, he's going to kill it. So look for Tim Settle this year. And then Montez Sweat. The one thing that any fan,
any writer has said since being at training camp with Montez Sweat is a guy that big should not move that fast. He should not be able to move that way. Montez Sweat looks like a freak of nature. I think the Redskins stole Montez Sweat from the NFL.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, the whole heart issue thing was a big problem to a lot of teams, not to the Redskins. On draft day or draft night when they traded back into the first round to get him, by far, other than picking probably between Brandon Sheriff and then rookie year RG3, by far the best, and Jonathan Allen, by far the best pickup in like probably the last like 6-7 years as far as the Redskins go. Solid player, going to be a staple on the defense. As you just said, just fast as all hell.
Yeah.
Ran like a 4.3 or 4.4 40 at the combine.
At 6'6", 280, which is ridiculous.
Just mind-blowing to me. So I've always said he reminds me of a young Julius Peppers, and if he can live up to any type of that.
That has been the comparison all training camp long down in Richmond is Montez Sweat. They say, I don't want to bring the comparison on to Montez because it's just going to bring stress on the situation. But just by looking at him and the way he plays, they see Julius Peppers.
Yeah. And if he can live anywhere close to that expectation, that's a home run out the park for the Skins right there.
Dude, oh my goodness. If he only has the same schlong, I'm okay with it. That's awesome, dude. Julius Peppers is, if he can even be, like you said, just even a microscopic form of him, that will be huge for the Redskins.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan Kerrigan needs some help on the other side.
We haven't had a legit pass rusher outside of Kerrigan who's not even like a legit pass rusher. He's just a high motor guy.
Yeah.
Who literally gets double-digit sacks every year because of his high motor.
Right.
We've never had that game-changing defensive end on the edge that can set the edge and rush the passer. So this is going to be huge for the Redskins.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the kind of thing the Redskins need to get lucky on, especially with the inexperience of the secondary.
Yep.
That being said, speaking of the secondary, Jimmy Moreland picked off a Case Keenum 7-on-7 pass just now, about 15 minutes ago. Apparently, Jimmy Moreland is just a freak of nature. And this kid, I'd be willing to bet Jimmy Moreland's going to start this year. The way that he has turned heads at training camp, he is balling out.
I will say, I don't think it's going to be the starter, barring injury, but I've heard that also Fabian Monroe has taken that next step to be like, this is what we drafted him to be. This is what we expected him to be. He had a great offseason, apparently, and he's coming to training camp looking like a straight dog. So between Norman, Dunbar, Moreau, and Moreland, I think those four right there can have a great rotation going. Even if they want to push Moreau to the outside, which he's capable of doing.
That's what he played in college. He played outside.
Exactly. So that's why he's not really a good slot guy. He's not really agile like that. But Jimmy Moreland, with the quickness and agility he has, would do numbers in the slot.
13 interceptions in his career at JMU. That's just a ball hawk.
And on top of that, we can still move DRC into the rotation. On top of that, he's a great veteran receiver or cornerback. So I just look great things for the defensive backs. And I've always been saying from the get-go, this is going to be that Josh Norman breakout season that the reason we signed him is going to be this season. It's going to remind everyone of the Carolina years when he had a great defensive line in front of him. Obviously, the linebackers are not Thomas Davis and Luke Kuechly.
Right.
But mediocre to good linebackers. Yeah. A great front seven is going to allow him to sit down in the zones and just pick off. I want to say I'll give him 4 to 5 interceptions this year, honestly. Maybe even a pick 6 or 2. But I just think that it's going to be a huge year for Josh Norman and the defense, and they're going to carry us as they did last year.
Yeah, I agree with you, except that I don't think that people are going to actually throw at Norman this year.
I don't know. He's been getting beat a lot, so people have been down on him the last couple years.
It's just the whole fact of Quentin Dunbar being on the outside and the way I know he was injured with what happened with Amari Cooper, but teams remember that.
Yeah.
And teams will go after that. They'll go after Jimmy Moreland because, to be quite frankly, they're going to have to. The way this defense is set up with the defensive line, they are going to have to be able to throw the football to get first downs against this defense. This is going to be hard to run the football on them, and that's why I think they are going to go outlet, and they're going to try to get dink and dunks all day long, and the guys that are kind of heavy-footed, aren't as quick, don't have that acceleration, are going to get picked on a little bit. And I think it's going to be Quentin Dunbar, but I think Norman's is going to be the type of stuff where it's like the quarterback escapes out of the pocket and just needs to find someone downfield. Obviously, no cornerback can cover for that long. Right. I think those are the type of plays that Norman's going to get bit on. I think those are the only type of ones they're going to throw at him. Because why would you even throw at Norman at this point? You could just throw at Dunbar.
That's true. And also, I just think that also the linebackers and coverage on the tight ends and the backs of the backfield is going to be kind of like a little bit of a downfall of the defense this year. They've never been a good pass coverage like linebackers unit ever since I can remember watching the Redskins.
Well, that was what was supposed to happen with Sua Cravens.
Yeah, and we're supposed to have what's his name, Reuben Foster out there this year, but that would have been actually great.
We'd be having a lot different conversation right now if Reuben Foster was still healthy.
Oh, without a doubt. But I just think that going back to what I was saying about Norman, I just think it's going to be a huge year for him. It's not really a make or break year because after this year we're probably gonna move off of him anyway.
Yeah, I think after this year it's done.
But I just think that he came into training camp this year with like no games being played, and he's just ready to go to work, 100% business, and he's gonna show everybody next year I deserve another contract, and I'm still number one cornerback in this league.
I think you're right. I think after this year, he wants to get another big contract.
Exactly.
If he waits too long, he probably won't be able to get another contract. So I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
I think this year he moves on. The Redskins, they part ways. He has a big cap number this year.
Yeah.
They'll part ways with him, and he'll go win a championship with somebody. I'm sure he'll go to New England or something stupid.
Also, I've been hearing nothing but great things about Landon Collins and how Jay and the defense has been using him, not as like a box safety, but on the back end, playing at the kind of like the center fielder type type guy.
I would honestly, I'd be willing to bet that Kaishan Jarrett has a lot to say about what Landon Collins is going to be doing, and I think that Landon Collins is going to be playing a lot of what Kaishan Jarrett was doing back in 2014, 2015. Right. I think he's going to be the rover, which is the kind of hybrid linebacker safety that plays in the box but can still go deep in cover, but mostly staying in there. Because, look, to be perfectly honest, our Monte Nicholson is one of the best cover safeties in the league right now. That kid is fast as all hell. And if he's anywhere in the box, that's a liability for you. He needs to be deep because he's fast as all hell.
That's exactly where I was going with it. They've been trying to like test out Landon's ball skills because he's a box safety according to all these other people. But if you look back to his, I think either rookie or second year in the league, he had like 6 or 7 picks that year. Just a bunch of pass deflections.
He had forced fumbles,
exactly. Like
I remember that Dallas Cowboy game. He actually stuck the Cowboys wide receiver, which actually popped the ball out, which I think fell right into, I think it was Mason Foster's hands, if I'm not mistaken. But Kaishan Jarrett was just making plays. But the fact being is, the reason why I call it the rover is because that's what he played at Virginia Tech. And that's what Bud Foster's defense, that's what they call that position, the rover position. You don't really have a label. It's just you do basically everything. And Landon Collins, I think, has the ability to do that.
And that just bodes well for the defense going forward because say you want to have Landon Collins play the deep third center field type position. You can send Monte Nicholson up into the box or on a blitz, and that goes well. And then vice versa. With Monte Nicholson being such a great cover safety, such a fast like defensive guy, have him play the center field. Have Landon play where he's best at in the box. Yeah. Blitzing, stopping the run, the crossing routes and all that. I'm just telling you, man. A lot of people are sleeping on the Redskins this year. A lot of people have us going 5-11, 6-10. I've been saying from the get-go, 9-7, 10-6, wild card.
Now, the Redskins defense, this year, I really think they're going to be playing a lot of man coverage. They are going to force teams to say, look, I don't care if you know I'm going in man. You have to block our defensive line. You have to block our rushers. And you have to get past Josh Norman, Landon Collins there in the back end playing man up. And if you're playing man up, that means Monte's going to be playing free safety, free roam, and that puts Landon Collins on either a running back or a tight end.
Who I love that matchup.
It's a great matchup, so you feel a lot better about this Redskins defense going into this year, which is what blows my mind about all of these critics and all of these experts saying the Redskins are going to be possibly number 1 overall pick or going 3-13. I mean, it just doesn't make much sense to me.
It's the Redskins, man. They love to hate on the Redskins. Most of the time, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Most of the time, it's like worthy of like the criticism. But if you look at the past, since 2015, honestly, we've been building, and it wasn't for injuries, we probably won the division back to back for the first time in God knows how long. So look for not a worst to first this year, but a third to wild card, I guess.
Yeah, 2 or 1. Yeah. And what blows what kind of blows my mind about all this is the Bears are the team that everyone is kind of like, besides the Chiefs, the Bears are the team that everyone is kind of like the it thing now. You know, like, oh, wow, this great defense and that offensive mind, they're doing great. But my thing is, the Redskins are a lot like the Bears, in my opinion. And all of these people are picking the Bears to rival the Packers for the lead in a really hard division.
If anyone thinks that Mitch Trubisky is that much better than Case Keenum, they should probably like get their eyes checked and watch more football.
That's my point. Is like, look at the wide receivers for the Bears. They don't have much there. What, Allen Robinson, Taylor Gabriel, what else you got? Trey Burton?
Right.
The Redskins, for some reason, have always been viewed more negative than other teams. I understand what the Bears did last season. That defense was automatic. But for some reason, the Redskins team just fell apart. I'll give you that. But they were on the same trajectory.
Yeah, exactly.
And injuries is what really did them in. And I think Alex Smith, the thing that is true. Yeah. Alex Smith was what derailed that team last year. A lot of credit to Matt Nagy, though. But the only reason I'm bringing up the Bears is because I feel like they are constructed almost in the same way, and even given the fact the Redskins have young up-and-comers at every position on defense, and teams are still sitting here saying, no, they're going to be a number 1 overall pick. You don't think that they're going to be a top 10 defense?
Exactly.
It blows my mind, and I guess it's just a new hip thing to do nowadays, just fry at the Redskins. Nobody wants to say the goddamn name.
Yeah, it's been a thing for years now, and then that's why loyal fans like us know what's really good, and the fair weather fans, which is probably 50% of the Redskins fans out there, just want to jump on the bandwagon when it's 2012 when we're balling out, making the playoffs, or 2015 when we're making the playoffs.
Yeah.
But in 17 and 18 and 16, it's just, oh, they need to fire Jay. We suck. Blah, blah. No. Calm down. It takes time. You got to build things up. You can't just snap your fingers, be a Super Bowl champion or a playoff contender. So
it takes time, and you're 100% right about that. And the Redskins have actually done it the correct way.
For the first time in probably since I've been watching the Redskins, at least this decade that I've been watching the Redskins, they finally tried to build through the draft, bring in the right type of free agents that like locker room guys pretty much and playmakers. So it's looking good for the Redskins.
And my point being is the biggest takeaway from me is that the Redskins finally learned a lesson. And they went and said, okay, if we're going to draft a quarterback, we can't go into it saying that's the only option we have. We have to start the quarterback. The fact that they are giving Dwayne Haskins a chance to grow into the position, I think is the biggest game changer of this Redskins organization right now, because that is what breeds success.
Yep.
When Dwayne Haskins forces himself onto it, instead of just throwing the entire team at RG3 saying, hey, it's yours, I don't care what you do. Making him earn it, and I love that about this Redskins team. And I think that the big things are coming, especially this year, because I have a small inkling, because seeing Dwayne Haskins so comfortable and so happy and having fun on Sunday, I think it's his team. I think that he's ready to go, and I think he realizes it. I think he sees the difficulty, but he also sees that how he can overcome that to be able to be a serviceable quarterback in this league. I think we're closer to Dwayne starting than we're not.
Hey, I mean, like everyone's been saying, he had his best day of OTAs and training camp on Sunday. He was looking crisp in the pocket. Everyone said he had a rhythm about him, which is like, if you play quarterback in the NFL, you got to have a rhythm to you to be like getting the feel of things. So with that being said, if he can stack good day on top of good day on top of good day, then that's going to bode well for him and the Redskins offense and the whole team in general. Yeah. But
I've said it for months. If the fan base, Dan Snyder and Bruce Allen, if they see Dwayne Haskins balling, it's not going to stay quiet. Yeah. This is going to be a loud thing. And it's going to be Bruce and Dan forcing their way into it.
And for today was the first day of full pads. Obviously, you're not going to hit the quarterback anyway, but full pads, full contact, everything's going to be moving a lot faster today. So we'll see what the reports come out as.
A lot of flights today from training camp as well. It's just a little bringing his own training camp update for you.
It makes sense, though, because the defense was getting their asses kicked on Sunday. Yeah. So it will only make sense.
And then before that, the defense was kicking the offense's ass for 2 straight days. So look, they're both teams are fired up. They're pissed off. They're hot. They don't want to be out there.
First day of contact. So.
Yeah. So they're ready to pop off. And the first preseason game is not far away, dude.
I mean, it's Thursday, 2 days away.
Yeah.
Hall of Fame game.
My goodness. We're already here.
We're not going to see like a lot of players out there, but I mean, we're in the
football is back.
We're in the danger zone.
And then just to wrap this up, we only got a couple more minutes. I got to get you home. But the Nationals, 4.5 games back of the first place with the Braves. They beat the Braves last night. Patrick Corbin came in, only gave up 1 run. And then the Anthony Rendon in a 2-2 game. Anthony Rendon answers the call with a grand slam and gets the Nationals a W.
If he is not up there in the MVP voting this year for the MLB, then I don't know what the hell these writers and voters are watching.
The guy has 80 RBIs and he sat out a month.
By far a career year, and the best time to do it in a contract year.
Oh, and he's been playing injured.
Yeah. And now, I mean, it's the best time to do it for him.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the best time to do it for the Nationals.
Right. They're going to have to overpay.
They're going to have to break the bank.
And they need to, because I really do believe that Anthony Rendon is a Hall of Fame baseball player. I think he reminds me, my biggest comp for Anthony Rendon is Chase Utley. I feel like he's just like him, the quiet kind of guy, just goes to work. Yep. He's not the one that screams to you the pop, the all-star, the superstar, like the Ryan Howards of the world. He's more of the grunt. I'll go and do what I need to do. I'll go make every pitcher's going to hate going against me.
Doesn't need the spotlight. Just
clutch guy.
I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to smack home runs and be a gold glove caliber type fielder. And
absolutely. And so I really do believe, I really like that comparison. And look, the Nationals need to get it done because they're going to have to start paying their guys because Juan Soto's coming up. Victor Robles going to come. I think they should ink Juan Soto right now.
Yeah, it's not looking well for the whole Rendon to the Nationals thing because if they haven't got a deal done yet, like it's kind of like he's been balling out since he came back from injury.
Right.
And you still don't want to give him the money. You're going to let him hit free agency. There's going to be someone that's going to offer him way, way, way more money than the Nationals probably can and will. And the Nationals like to also give deferred money to people. Yeah. When they're like in their 60s and 70s, like, what the hell am I doing?
I'm not trying to be the Mets.
Right. What am I going to do with, Bobby Bonilla? That's right. Cool. I don't want to be like 70 years old getting $100 million. What am I going to do with that? I'm 70 years old. So they just got to get the deal done. I mean, at this point, like, everyone's like cool with Bryce Harper walking. If they let Rendon walk, I legit think there's going to be like revolts and I think the fans might actually boycott going to the games at this point if they don't re-sign Rendon.
Yeah, and I think you're right about that. The Nationals have to get that done soon and immediately. Yeah. There is no more wasting time. All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you can like and share our posts, and also check out my Twitter at KRonick and at Burgundy Zone. Going to be doing daily training camp updates for you guys, breaking it down. You don't have to go through your Twitter. I know you're at work, you're busy. You only have to watch 1-minute video. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Kyle.
I'm Mike. Be on the lookout for a longer episode next time.
All right, everybody. Redskins football. Woo!